Hi, my name's Isla Bumba. I'm one of the contact tracers team leads here in NHS Grampian. So I've recently started as a team lead here after about 6 months of being a contact tracing practitioner. And something recently we've realised is that when someone in a household tests positive for COVID, it's almost expected that someone else in the household, at least one person, if not all, would then also develop COVID and contract it from that individual. But what I want to say to you today is that that shouldn't be the expectation, and there are lots of different ways, like small little ways, that you as a household can reduce your risk of that happening. So the first thing that I would want to recommend, and obviously I know this isn't going to be suitable for everyone because just not everybody has the space to do this and it's just not feasible, but if you do have the space and the resources available, if you can isolate, if you're the positive one, if you isolate in a separate room with a separate bathroom from the rest of your household. The reason why we ask that is just because bathrooms, there's lots of surfaces being touched, there's lots of potential transmission going on in those sort of areas. So if it is possible for you to stay away from the rest of your household and isolate in a separate part, that would be the best and the most ideal situation. However, if that's not possible, what we would recommend is that you keep 2 meters distance wherever possible in your house. So if you're in communal areas, if you stay out with 2 meters of the rest of your household, and if you're having to use communal areas and shared bathrooms, for example, or kitchens, that you increase your sanitation so that you're using products that are effective against the viruses and bacteria, and that you use them to wipe down surfaces after you've used the bathroom or the shower or the kitchen, and that you're not sharing towels or washing your dishes and drying them with the same towels even. So if you wash your dishes, making sure that you're being extra cautious with the plates that were used by the person who's positive, and making sure you're drying them with a separate tea towel. And just increasing your hygiene wherever possible, and obviously alongside that, hand hygiene is really key as well. So making sure when you are washing your hands, making sure it's regularly throughout the day, and also for 20 seconds. There are resources on the NHS website. If you're not sure the best way to be washing your hands, now is the time to learn, so please feel free to find those resources. Okay. Additional little things that you can be doing in your household to reduce risks are things like washing your laundry at a higher temperature, the highest possible for those fabrics. So the extra heat will help kill the viral particles, and that's going to be really useful. And when you're doing your laundry, making sure you're not going to shake them before you put them in when they're still dirty, as that could release viral particles and encourage the spread basically. Other things, so lots of things that are of concern when someone's going into isolation is, how am I going to get food? That's the first thing. So we're really encouraging the use of online shopping, so supermarket deliveries. Something that I used to always recommend to individuals when I was contact tracing was, if they're worried about the delivery driver dropping off their food, that they can just stick a little sign, like bit of paper and sellotape on your front door saying, someone in this house is COVID positive, please handle with caution, something like that, just so you're just giving the other person a heads up so that you both know where you stand and you can help protect each other and yourselves appropriately. Another thing of concern is dogs. Most people do have dogs. How are you going to walk your dog when you're isolating? So unfortunately, you are not allowed to be going outside any private garden or land. So it would be a matter of getting a family friend to come and walk your dog for you, tying your dog on a lead outside and then collecting it. Or if that's not possible for you, we do have dog walkers available that can help you as well. So it's just a matter of contacting us and your local authority, and they will be able to help organise that for you. If you do have any vulnerable or elderly people in your house, we need to be extra cautious with them. So if it's possible that they have another place that they could isolate so that they're away from the positive person, that would be the most ideal situation. However, if that's not possible, making sure that the individual who is infectious keeps as much distance from those individuals as possible when inside the house, just so we're helping keep everyone safe. And Also, if you've got carers or medical staff coming in, making sure that they're aware in advance so that they can bring the appropriate PPE to protect themselves as well. Other than that, isolation is a very scary thing, and it has a big toll on our mental health, our work relationships, everything like that. It goes above just having COVID and being unwell. So we do have different resources that are available. If you're struggling financially and isolating for 10 days is going to have a big impact on your finances, then you should seek the £500 support self-isolation grant that could be available for you. So you can find that on the NHS website, or your local authority should have access. They should have that branded on their website, so you can find that easily and apply for that online. If not, when you're talking to our contact tracers, when they do your interview, that's something that you can discuss with them as well, and they can help facilitate that for you. Also, on the note of mental health and mental well-being, isolation has a huge impact on that, and we know that that's of huge importance. So we encourage you to use, if you have a private garden, use that space and make sure you're getting fresh air and not just staying stuck in the one room, if that's possible for you to be able to go out and use a private garden and not come into contact with anybody else. Other things in terms of inside your house, another top tip would be to keep windows open. So as I'm sure you've seen, there's many adverts on TV, ventilation is key, and it's going to really help. It's a simple thing. We're in the summer months right now. Obviously it's not going to be as easy in winter, but right now it would be super beneficial for you to just keep your windows open even a little bit, just to increase the airflow so that it's reducing the risks in your household, and that's especially beneficial in communal areas. And finally, I think the last couple things that we do need to remind ourselves of is cough hygiene. So if you are a symptomatic person and you do have a cough, or if you're sneezing, then please cough into your arm, into your elbow, and be making sure you're increasing your hand hygiene, washing your hands after you cough or sneeze, and making sure we're just clearing all those particles away as soon as possible. And on the note of symptoms, if you are someone that has a fever, if you still have a fever on day 8 or day 9 of your isolation, or even day 10, it's really important that you don't leave your isolation until you're 48 hours fever free, and that's without the control of paracetamol. The reason for that is the fever is the sign that tells us that you're still actively infectious. So if you do still have that fever, it does suggest that you could still be infectious, therefore it would be really important for you to stay home. In terms of the rest of your household, it's really important that everybody seeks a PCR test between days 3 and 5 of the first person developing symptoms. If those tests are negative, that's great, and you can just finish your 10-day isolation period as you would usually. However, if it's positive, what's going to happen is we will then give you another call and give that second person who's positive a phone call in regards to their own positive result. If everyone tests negative, that's fantastic, but if in a couple days later somebody develops symptoms, it's important that that person does seek another PCR test, and on the premise that is positive, they would then start a 10-day isolation from the day that their symptoms started themselves.